Look at all the cows. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get a close up of these guys. Hello.
What are you doing?
I don't know, there's so many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my goodness. Well, does it make them ours? Oh my goodness, it's not gonna move. Oh yeah, go into the pasture. Come on.
Hey guys, welcome back to Blackacre Ranch. Hey, so we got here and there's like 10 cows from our neighbor that has infiltrated our property. Anyway, we tried pushing them around and get him back towards the front, but they took off to the back pasture. And now he's gonna try and get them. I tried to get them forward, but they went through this is pasture 7. So I don't know how he's gonna herd them, but I just hope they don't go down the thing and make it even more difficult. So this just only, I think, emphasizes to me is where they're coming in is at our front gate. The neighbor that we have, that we love so much, they always leave their gate open. And the property line between us isn't quite fenced yet. There's a cable that goes across, but it's not working. So we've got to really get that fence line done right there, and that would stop these cows. But again, I don't know why he just lets the cows out and roams around. And I mean, these cows could go down to the highway just 200 yards down the road. But they keep coming up here and they're starting to eat my hay. So I'm not liking that. So with buffalo coming in 3 weeks, we got to get these suckers out of here and find a way to stop them. And I got to get that fence going. Just add that to the list. So we said goodbye to the cows. I guess it was a so long, see you later. I'm sure we will see them later, but we met our neighbor and the neighbor seems pretty cool. So if it takes a little bit of a infestation or something like that to go ahead and meet your neighbors, I guess it's cool, but he seems like a cool guy. Exchange digits and we'll keep up with him. So anyway, today was not supposed to be cow chasing or herding. We're getting ready for buffalo, not cattle. So we've got them out. Today what we wanted to do was finish up that little area by getting the odds and ends. We're gonna go get a hay feeder or a hay ring. I wanna talk to you about that and some of the options that there are. We'd picked up a water trough. That's the concrete guy. And then we've got a gate we gotta put up, but that'll probably be next week. So Steve has our gate. He's willing to give us a gate for free, a 12-footer, so that's cool. I appreciate that a lot. And I think he wants to talk about some buffalo and making sure we got numbers and who and what. So this is going to be an exact representation of the stuff that kind of happens. You have your agenda set out. Let's go ahead and make sure we got tasks going, and you get a bunch of cows and you have to flex. So we're going to get some of these odds and ends done. Join us, but this is kind of what's going crazy today.
Okay, so we're all set to bring over our water trough, but we've got this big roof panel that's in the way. So Jeff's coming over with the tractor to come haul it out of the way with the forks. I mean, the grapple would have worked awesome, but we need the forks for the trough, so let's see what we can do with the forks.
effective. They tell you all the time in these tractors, you gotta watch out, things poking out and all of a sudden coming back at you. I don't know if you can see it on the film, but one of those little posts, the 2x4s, came up and got real close to the fitting up there for the hydraulics and went right by it. So, count your lucky stars. Better to be lucky than good sometimes. Alright, we just gotta get this trough in, and I'm gonna put it up against this far fence right here, closest to the house, because we're gonna put the water tank up underneath the dilapidated actual carport. That's an elevated point, and it'll give us some gravity down into the water trough. So I'm just gonna put the water trough over here, right up against the fence, kind of what we did the last time. And we're just gonna connect it with a water hose, but it'll give us some time. So we're just going to keep these on the pallets for now. It's going to make it removing it in about a month a little bit easier. A lot of times the small babies, when they're really born fresh, aren't big enough to get up and really reach over and get it deep down in some of these things. So Steve was telling me you kind of want to make sure that it's a little lower, or have a lower one for those. None of ours are going to be that young, so at least while they're here. The rest of them will be in there by the time hopefully they're born. Anyway, enough of the water trough. Right now, let's go get the gate and the hay ring. Are you down there? Are you guys ready? Yeah. Okay, here we go. You know, I thought I was all legit when I had those like small red ones, just like in town, you're like pimping it with some hardcore stuff. This is like so much better than those small red ones. How do city slickers just think that they've got it all, right? I don't know. The hay ring definitely does leave its mark, right? So it's just a bunch of steel. We have put this on the far east side of this 3/4 acre pasture. The water tank is actually back over there. We're not going to put them next to each other because all you're going to have is all the animals squat in one spot. So we're going to at least make them walk a little bit. But there are different types of hay rings, and I wasn't expecting one like this. In other words, the ones I've seen from like Tractor Supply come in 3 sections and you have to bolt them together. This is just straight up bent steel that's put together already. So this was super easy. It isn't huge. It isn't huge steel, but it is, you know, welded, so it'll work. Now there's different types of hay rings. Now this is not the type I really want. Okay. There are different ways to feed your animals hay. This is just because this is temporary right now. In the future, I want to do something else. And the reason is because there's a lot of waste with hay bales. You can feed your animals by just sticking out a bale of hay and putting it on the ground. Buffalo will like to just tear that sucker up and hit it and just thrash it. And what you have is a lot of waste. And that's the biggest problem with feeding hay, is the amount of waste that happens. Animals will go in, they'll grab stuff, they'll pull it out as they turn their head, and you end up getting this huge swath all around you. And so you can get waste 20-30% by just having the hay out. If you don't have it even in a ring, you can lose a ton of that to just being trampled on and everything else and not actually fed. So this is not my ideal situation, but there are other types that I think I would like in the future or to try. So a lot of what makes these things different is kind of how they're constructed, as in terms of efficiency. So you can have hay rings that will typically give about, I think the study said 20 to 25% loss by just using a standard hay ring. And that's just something like this. Another way to improve it is to put a skirt around it. Skirts on this will help keep the hay in. And I think, if I'm right, the efficiency of waste, how much waste you had was, I think, dropped to like 14% in this study. I'll try and find the article and put it in the link below, but there's getting a skirt, and then they have what are called, I don't know what they're called. They're called offset. I call them an offset skirt. And that's where the base is set out so the arm comes out, and then there's the skirt. And what this does is it allows a cow to be able to get something, kind of bring their head up, but still it's inside the skirt below them, and so they've just swollen the outside some. And using a skirt system like that, the report was saying something like 6 to 8% loss, because anything that falls out as they're chewing still falls inside, and they can come back later and pick it up. So this is not the optimal. I know that. It's not what I want to do in the long term. I get that. But it is better than just throwing a bale of hay out here and letting them terrorize it and just wasting all my hay. So it will help. At least 3/4 of all my hay will be eaten, hopefully. But again, this is not what I want to do long term. So now that I've said that a couple times, you might be asking, well, Jeff, what do you want to do long term? Good question. So long term, I want to do one of two things. Okay, I'm going to be rotationally grazing the bison as I go around the pastures. Okay, there'll probably be like 7. I don't want to waste a bunch of hay. So I've thought about making like a hay cart and putting hay in it that I can then portably take it place to place, and then not have to leave it in one spot. Because right now, if I just have a hay ring and I go put it in the pasture and put some hay in it, well, the next week when I rotate them away, all that hay that wasn't eaten, now what do I do with it? So that's a concern. So I want to maybe make a cart and then just tow it from place to place, and in it would have my bales of hay and it would have my mineral feeder. The other option is to do a fence line feeding system, and that's where I can go ahead and put the hay in along the fence, and they have a skirted opening inside the pasture where they can eat. Okay, that's still stationary, but I can maybe share that with a couple of pastures and then be able to get a couple weeks out of it. Now, it's not gonna move, it's not gonna transport. So my question is, well, how am I gonna make sure this stuff lasts? And another thing you can do is to put a cover over it. If you can keep the rain out of it and the sun and any of these elements, trying to keep it dry, you can actually save a lot of your hay. And so I'm debating a fence line feeder or a portable cart. So if you have any suggestions, any of you guys that are experienced, you know, there's theory, like I've mentioned before, and then there's practical. Is a movable cart with the hay on it, feeding system, better? Is it even realistic? Or fence line feeding system? So those are the two options. Let's go get this fence and then go from there and go see some of those buffalo. I think Steve wants to kind of go over which ones I'm taking, which ones I'm not taking, and kind of go at that kind of stuff. So stay with us, all right? Let's go check out some buffalo.
Watch your hand. Let's take a look at it and see what I think.
I know you need some females to help sell some of the bulls, so. Stay just like you are, ladies.
Round.
138 and 139.
137, 130.
Hello, Mom. She's a very social girl.
30 did.
Is that hard? You said hard. Yeah, there's too many names in that.
Yeah, what names?
I don't know.
This one's early.
Neck hair off. I don't know what he did. Maybe he stuff like that. Looks like he's got a fence in there.
He's so cute, just a little fuzzball. So is that probably her calf?
They don't stay so close anymore. I saw one nursing back in a while ago. So that's a pretty good sign. They don't ever nurse someone else's.
There's a co-op around here because I asked them, like, what do you guys price? Well, we only sell through distributors, or I hate when you say that.
Yeah.
So, okay,
I'll check with them today.
they do play with gates.
Someone was over here and got spooked by another one, rammed that gate. It pulled that out. That's why I've got that rope around there just as a safety thing now.
So the gate is a little bit bigger than I swear this was a 12-foot opening. So our gate might be actually a little bit longer, maybe 14. But anyway, we got this from Steve. Super kind of him to, share some of the stuff that he's got. So this was, I think, left over at his place when he bought it. But we're gonna be overhanging a little bit, which just means I'm gonna get a chain, which I would do anyway. and wrap it and just strap it to the post. And it'll be a little bit big, but that'll kind of help and maybe be actually useful, because right back over here is where we're going to put the actual another handling place, small pen to feed in here, and it'll open up and kind of help be a channel. So it might help that way. But anyway, we don't have the little lugs, the clamp things, so we're gonna have to buy that this coming week. Steve was telling us, and I agree, get the ones that go all the way through and not just thread in, but go all the way through, and we'll hang it next week. But you know, we just got back, and you saw from the video all the buffalo. I think Charlotte was able to get a lot of them. We're gonna have 7 females, numbers 126, 30, 32, 37, 38, 39. And then there's an 18-month-old, 149, I think is an actual number. But otherwise, we have our 2 bulls. I don't know if we've shared with you what their names are, so I'm gonna hold off until we get them to come in. But the 20th, we're gonna work them, and then on the 27th of this month, the buffalo come. So it'll be that giddy moment when we let the buffalo out into their wasteland of an area. At least that's what it looks like right now. So, but anyway, looking forward to it. Hey, thanks for joining us, guys. Keep with us. Pound the like button. We really do appreciate when you do that, and also subscribe. We've got a bunch of things going. We've got 187 acres. We're building this out. Our animals are coming. We're working on a bunch of other fencing, building pastures. I've got some ideas for barn dominium redos, remodels, building 18,000 square foot barns. Anyway, a lot of stuff is coming in the years ahead, weeks ahead. It doesn't stop, even though I kind of wish it would sometimes. But a lot of stuff going on, so subscribe, hit the notification bell, and keep with us. Big changes are always coming. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.
With you, I wanna stay with you.